I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners approves the February 3rd, 2026 special meeting minutes.
Second, a roll call, please.
Sabrina? Yes?
Jill. Yes. All right, Hank, self-probation.
Okay.
You are
You're
on.
up.
Oh, boy. Again,
Front and center.
I'm profoundly thankful to be able to come before the board to try and figure out what we're going to do with increases. So thank you for allowing me to approach you guys. I did email your staff our proposal. I don't know if you all got a chance to look at it.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
I mean, we are willing, we work for you guys and you guys are in control of the budgets. We're willing to annually look at that fund, that 1121, which is a supervision fee fund. And we talked about last time, we charge offenders $50. Some pay, some does not pay. Typically, the first quarter is where we get most of our money from supervision fees because income taxes. You know, people are trying to get our probation too.
They now have the money to
Yeah.
fund
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
right, fund their fine.
Yeah, and just like what you guys are waiting on to see what kind of revenue you're gonna bring in, that's the same thing that's gonna happen with that 1121. If it continues to be as prosperous as it's been over the last few years, then we can, you know, again, I work closely with Jackie, we can say, hey, you got X amount of dollars in that fund, we like for you to use some of it to pay salaries, and which we're doing now. I think we're going from 2 out of the general fund into supervision fee fund to 5. So I think that's definitely gonna increase that. And the other thing that we're always concerned and cognizant of, we have several grant funded positions that we don't know if they're gonna, those grants are gonna continue, so we'd have to use that to, supplement salaries. Now, I know there's gonna be a RIF, probably in the next 2 or 3 years, a reduction in force, because those grants are gonna run out and, we can't support those positions. And that's the thing with grants, you get these grants and you can't sustain them. I mean, the money looks good, but then you're laying people off, and that's what we're gonna do. So we'll probably have to have a RIF of about 3 people in 2028,
Okay.
if not more.
Yeah.
I don't know, it all depends on you guys' budget, but I digress. I mean, we put something together to see if, at least get us through this year to give those guys an increase, especially those who are making under 25. We proposed a 5% for those guys, because they're making like 2409 or 2469. Give them a 5%. And then those who are not would get a 3%. And I know we had mentioned if there's an increase, based on you guys' revenue, if we could get a 1% or 1.5%, then that's solely up to the board.
Yeah, and we're still looking at that. In fact, Jackie's gonna talk to us this morning regarding the budget, so, a lot of things still to
Oh,
be
yeah,
determined.
uncertain, man, I tell you.
Yeah, and when, in your proposal, you had said all other employees to receive a 3% increase. Is that across the board, or do you mean the probation officers?
Across the board.
Yeah.
Even our lovely support staff, if the truth be told, they're underpaid. They probably make $20 an hour, and I know some other support staff are making more than that, but the only thing I can worry about is our department. So yes, we're gonna take them up 3% as well.
Yeah, we would definitely, need to, look into this. And Hank, I did have one question.
Yes.
On number 6, I don't know if you have your document.
Yes,
in
ma'am,
front
I
of
do.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
The cost projections, the table at the bottom.
Yes.
For the supervision fund 1121, the difference, it's 443. I think that's an incorrect number. I think it should be about 22,000, or is the projected increase in 2026 supposed to be a different number?
I'm assuming that may be, because this is what, this is what.
Because when I looked at that, I was gonna ask the same thing. When I looked at it, it's only like 23, but then they pasted it twice.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so
See
too.
the difference?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that amount at
It's
the
like
bottom
23, yeah,
would
a little-
be
be
way
off a little
less.
bit, yeah.
So amount at the bottom with coming out of Fund 1121, it'd be about 126,000. So a lot less than the projected 546.
Yes, I think she added looked like she added all of these up yeah, but still, if you look at the Rise Hope Corps, that's coming out of their own fund, the increases.
Yeah.
Scram is coming out of its own fund, which that's not gonna be able to support itself either. That's gonna be sort of like 1121, if you don't keep an eye on it, it'll run out like the Scram, that's EMHA Scram fund. So yes, it's a little bit less, but I think she projected, with us paying those 5 salaries out of the supervision fee fund plus the increases. I think that's where she came up with those numbers.
Okay, yeah.
But it's off a little bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that I didn't think that number should be higher in that middle column to make our difference, 443,000.
Yes.
That would be a huge increase,
Yes.
So really, we're only talking about 126,000 coming out of the 1121.
21.
Yeah.
So, I know that.
Additional, plus the
plus
5
your
year.
regular,
Yeah.
Plus the regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we've talked about before, you carry a healthy balance over every year, and just looking, I pulled the last 3 years, 24.
Yeah, I tried to pull 5 and I couldn't. I could only go back 3.
Well, just pulling back to 2022 in the financial statements,
Mm-hmm.
'cause that's what I look at.
Yeah.
And I know this includes everything,
Mm-hmm.
probation services fund, I mean, there's the other pieces in there, I'm not talking about just one fund, but,
Mm-hmm.
Consistently, it looks like you bring in about 1.3 across all those funds.
Mm-hmm.
for-
All the funds, 1122?
Yeah.
22,
11,
21?
Yeah, exactly.
But those,
Go ahead.
like the 1122, that fund,
ISP.
the ISP, that's not guaranteed.
Bless
Bless you,
you.
yes. That's not guaranteed, right? That's the state, I mean, we've been very fortunate, that fund, I mean, we've been getting that grant for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And it's all predicated on how many diversions we have, how many people we're keeping from prison. And they score that. If we're sending people to prison, they're gonna reduce our fee. Plus, even with the cost of living, the money won't support cost of living. I mean, they only give us, I think, for 2 years, we're gonna get 812,000. That's a rough estimate, 812,000, and that grant ends in 2027, June of 2027. So then we may have to reboot again. I'm certain you're gonna get some money, but I'm not certain that you're gonna get 812,000.
Sure.
And I, unfortunately, I try and convey this to our staff. I mean, everything's predicated on tax dollars. It's not like we make widgets. But again, and I appreciate it. They don't quite understand that. I'm a trustee too, and I know how money works. So, I'm gonna do whatever.
I had a question on the first page, and it's regarding the bond drug
Yes.
testing. It's recommended the service is funded and supervised by the courts and the pretrial unit housed at the Ravenna or Kent courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Is there room in those courthouses? I'm sure there is in Kent.
Yes.
But would there be room?
Not one in Ravenna, but there is one in Kent because they built an office for probation. We don't go over there, so they have an office over there. I mean, again, that's going to be a battle with the judges if they want all of that traffic coming in there to do testing. But you have an office space. You have cops there. I think you have places to screen these people.
Well, we might have a space at Riddle Block that we could take a look at. But
Yeah.
the other thing
Yeah.
is as far as that goes, because I understand there could be, the funding we're using currently is the opiate.
Yes.
And the bond people don't necessarily have any drug addiction problems, period. They're just doing it as a check-in. And then these folks, and unfortunately, everyone else is paying for it because they don't pay for it.
Yeah.
And then,
tax
it's
dollar.
my understanding, they're out on PR bonds. So, I mean, so they don't really have a lot of skin in the
No.
game, other than they've
Yeah.
been charged but not convicted. So that's why they're trying to do this. So it's my understanding, and we talked about, within a year or so, that Muni court is gonna be paid off.
Well, I had heard that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd heard it's gonna be, yeah, so. I don't-
Jackie's
yeah.
gonna take a look at it, so I was just thinking, cause, you know, they'll probably come to us for funding, but that would be a good resource, and it's my understanding, the Muni judges probably use it more.
Judge
as far
Rubik,
as the
yeah.
drug
Yeah, Judge
testing, yeah.
Rubik uses it a lot. Judge Pittman uses it a lot because she don't want to, send people to the county. And Judge Doherty.
Yeah,
But Judge
yeah.
Poland rarely uses it. Judge Fankhauser rarely uses it as well. It's the three judges
But
I
it's,
mentioned.
it's not necessarily people that have drug-related issues, correct?
Yeah, my experience, in testing these people, there's many that, a plethora of offenses, whether it's carrying a concealed weapon, whether it's trespassing on habitation, and there are some drug offenses. But we've tested them all, and quite frankly, not all of them have opioid addiction.
Okay.
And I don't know, again, this is the conversation you guys have to have with the judges. I don't know if there's a law out there to say you can't charge them. Again, my thing, if you commit an offense, you should have some skin in the game.
Right.
I mean, it's.
Well, and it's probably, like you said, a question for the judges.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
how do we enforce that they pay?
Yeah.
Do we say, hey,
Yeah.
you know what, if you can't, then you gotta go to jail?
Yeah.
Or
You're gonna PR
whatever,
bond,
Or
you know?
maybe just to see where the judges can find it, in their resources or in their special funds, that
Right.
they can do it, so it doesn't jeopardize the funding that's being used currently.
We're doing what you guys asked us to do with that 1121.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
there's special funds
And
out there for the
that's why
courts.
it's good, and I had talked to Judge Doherty too, and I talked to Judge Pittman, that Judge Doherty called in today, to get this situated. Because like I said, we don't wanna jeopardize our funding and end up having to pay it back,
Oh, yeah.
because it's not
Or audit,
being
you don't wanna get
utilized
audited, have your.
for opiate.
Your picture in the paper for something that, and that's the same way Teresa and I feel too. We've been doing it for several years, but if, you get audited, if you're using opioid money, you get audited, then, you're gonna be in trouble. I don't wanna be in trouble. I've had a
Yeah.
pretty decent career. I don't want a number.
Yeah.
I don't wanna go like this, Hank Gibson with
Yeah.
a state number.
I'm sure we can work out something with the judges.
I think we get a better, understanding from them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
seem very cooperative,
Yeah.
so.
I just think they're trying to keep the jails, as empty as we can, because
Yeah.
the more you put in, the more it's gonna cost you guys in
Oh,
overtime.
Absolutely.
Or as you just stated, some of this grant funding's based on diversion.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
keeping folks
Yeah.
out of prison,
Mhm.
keeping folks out of
Yeah,
jail.
bingo.
So,
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
But also just making sure people are paying what they should be
Yeah,
paying.
it should,
You know,
yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
where I come
Me too.
in that, people aren't
Yeah.
paying and
Mhm.
not funding these sources, so we can give them these testing.
And they won't, here's the thing, if they're not, they're not using their money, there's a good likelihood they're gonna keep recidivating because there's no consequences.
Well, and maybe we could go the route of, I went to jail, but,
Mm-hmm.
community service. Well, okay, Saturday for 6 hours, 8 hours, you need to, do community service. I wonder how many people would pay up to get out of
Yeah,
that.
oh,
So,
100%.
We're, so,
and especially if they're getting drug tested and they don't really have a drug problem.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other alternatives in which I'm sure we'll talk with Judge Doherty
Mhm.
on, as, Commissioner Crawford suggested, that would probably be a better fit.
You know what we do, if we test somebody from out of county, a lot of times they'll call us, hey, someone lives in Ravenna, you mind testing them? Yeah, we'll test them, $12.50. We charge them $12.50 a test.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that helps build up our fund as well, our supervision fee fund as
And
well.
making sure we're collecting those.
Yes.
Right,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So Hank, I appreciate you giving us the outlooks on the grants,
Mhm.
SCAM, because at SCRAM, that really helps us. Because I know SCRAM also is very, very helpful in keeping folks out
Yes.
of jail.
Yes.
Because it not only tests for drugs, it tests for alcohol
Yes.
as well,
Yep.
right?
Yep. One thing about Scram, and I tell people this all the time, Scram tests for alcohol and ins and outs. It'll tell you when a person leaves and when a person returns, but it doesn't tell you where he's at when he departs his house. So he could be down the street, and they've had situations in Akron where they killed somebody because they're on house arrest, and you don't know where they are. GPS tracks where they are, but Scram is, I think, used for alcohol.
Yeah.
And that fund, you brought it up, that's gonna be a fund that's gonna be depleted by next year too. So I don't know what the courts are gonna do with that. The person that's doing that job now, he may have to bump somebody. I mean, I don't know. We're meeting with the judges in 2 weeks to talk about the Scram, so.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions I'm looking here.
Actually, I had a couple other questions,
Mhm.
maybe just one. On the second page, under number one, you had mentioned that there's 3 employees moved from the general fund and paying them out 11/21. So has that been over the last several years, or is that just something that has happened in the last year?
Just happened in the last year. We've increased the people in the supervision fee fund as far as salary and wages.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you're right.
wasn't
No, it hasn't
something-
been going on for several years.
Okay.
We were able to use grant funding, the federal dollars, instead of using the general fund. The other thing too, we gotta be cognizant of, meaning the adult probation department, is we have several young kids on our payroll who are about to turn 26, so they're gonna be booted off mom and dad's.
yeah.
So we'll have to,
The benefits,
probably have to take care of the
right.
benefits, and you both know how
Yeah.
expensive those benefits are.
Right. And then Hank,
Mhm.
on the second one with the office manager.
Manager, yes.
Yeah, and was that just in the last year as well?
That was in the last 2 years.
Okay,
Yes, 2 years.
I'm just trying to get a
Oh,
handle
no,
on
you're
that.
fine.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
When I look at things from year to year, I kind of
Mhm.
like to
No,
know
no,
when
you're fine.
things
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah,
as
you're
far as
fine.
moving positions or eliminating
Mhm.
positions, so, I know that's helpful. Okay, well, I think,
One comment I would like to add is, it's interesting to see, of your 32 employees, that 15 of them are actually funded by grants.
Yeah, we've been
I
fortunate.
mean, we only have 17 in our general fund
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
of the 32.
Okay, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
why
pretty
it's
good.
also helpful
Mhm.
that you did give us a synopsis and an outlook for the grants and Scram
Mhm.
as to their potentials of being eliminated in
Mhm.
what years.
I tell you what, if, and I don't wanna get off topic, if we screw with our property taxes, everybody's gonna be in a world of hurt. I don't know how we're gonna fund a lot of positions. That's, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
townships, cities, everywhere. So, but I'm gonna tell you, I have been, during my tenure, Teresa and I have been good stewards of taxpayer dollars. If you look at our history, we always give money back for the most part to the general fund. At the end of the year, we don't say, hey, we got X amount of dollars, we're gonna spend it on increases or bonuses or what have you. That's just who I am as a person.
yeah.
And hopefully my successor will view it the same way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's why we always ask people to try to budget as close to possible
Mhm.
as they can, because then it can free up, that for some other
Mhm.
department that really may need it, and we might not have to wait till year end,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
But no, appreciate you,
Yeah.
looking at that, and just the last comment I'd like to make is just, using these special revenue funds is something, we've asked the whole county to look at,
Okay.
if they have access to
Mhm.
these
Rightfully
special
so.
funds, that
Mhm.
let's look to these to see that we're using these funds to what they can be used for. I know that sometimes there's a
Mhm.
lot of restrictions,
Mhm.
but, look to those because we've got some pretty hefty balances in those funds. So
Mhm.
to the extent that we can use those, that's really, looking out for the whole team, looking out for Portage
Yeah.
County as a whole, so we can, start to look at other things that need to be done.
Yeah, you guys, Jackie reached out to us, and without hesitation, we said, we'll do what we need to do. I have a good working relationship with Jackie, she's amazing. Michelle, we're gonna do what we need to do, because ultimately, you guys are responsible for all these budgets anyhow, so whatever we say, we're not gonna use it, but you can tell us what to do with our money.
We just
So-
wish everyone was like that.
Yeah, me too.
Right, you
Yeah,
know,
me too.
that's
Yeah,
the whole
unfortunately, yeah.
issue with us. Everyone comes to us in a silo. Like,
Yeah.
just about their
Absolutely.
department, whereas we have to look at the entire picture
Mhm.
and the moving pieces and parts as to how that fits in and what we can do. And we definitely appreciate departments like yours that, you know, are very good stewards with
Mhm.
taxpayers' dollars. And,
And we'll continue to do that. I mean, again, like I said earlier, we don't make widgets. I mean, we're funded by tax dollars.
And that's
you
a,
know,
that's a tough department, and I'm still so shocked, because the other thing that amazes me is your employees for probation are required to have a degree.
Mhm. Yeah, they're undervalued, and here's the other thing too. You know, you get people and they're just strung out on meth. They jump up. They wanna fight. We've had to take people down. These are people that should be in prison, but the state saying no. I'll give you money to keep them out of prison. Work with them in your community. We're working with some really violent offenders. And I commend our staff. Now we purchase tasers, so we have tasers in our department. We use, I think, was it 600? No, 65,000, I do believe, to buy tasers out of the supervision fee fund. So we have 10 people equipped with tasers. We also have 6 of them who have firearms, which we send out in the field, and they also protect us in our department. So it's a tough job. It's not as coveted as it was when I got in it 30-some years ago. People don't want to do it anymore. But we have an amazing staff, young staff, which is good. I think if you can get them up to, eventually get them up to, our goal is to try and get them up to $27, and then we go from there. You're going to keep them, because you're not going to be able to go to another probation department and start out making $28 an hour.
Yeah.
I just know that from my experience. And should I wait patiently for?
Yeah, we'll take this into consideration.
Okay.
Like I said, we're still working on the budget. Here in the next few weeks, it needs to be finalized no later than April 1st, but.
Okay. Even if we're using supervision fee fund? We can't move yet to,
Well, we'll take it into
Okay,
consideration.
all right.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, 'cause
As a
again,
whole.
we have to look at
Yeah,
the
as a
whole
Okay.
picture, and right now, we're off, we have more requests than estimated revenues, so
Mhm.
we're looking at the whole big picture
Okay.
on, how each
Mhm.
department impacts that, so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right,
All
thanks so
right,
much
thanks.
for coming.
Oh, you
in.
bet. Thank you for allowing me to present.
All right.
Have a great
Thanks.
day.
You as well, thank you.
It's like arguing before the Supreme Court. Take that into consideration.
All right, our human resources is next.
All right, is that you, Michelle? Oh, no, here we go.
Susan.
Susan,
Our
health
expert.
benefit.
How are you all?
Good, right? We're good.
I come here today to talk about our consultant. So we have had Willis Towers Watson has been our consultant since at least 2004. They would have to dig in boxes to know if it was further back than that. I believe that it was further back than that. So during that time, and I've been here almost 14 years, a little over 13, we have used Willis Towers, and they have given us excellent service. If you know anything about Willis Towers, they are an international company.
Yeah.
But 4 years ago, our executive manager of our account, Doug Brown, who had always managed our account here at Portage, retired. So they put a new person in. Her name was Angela, and she came right off into the first RFP, I believe. I was not too excited about the service that we got from her at that time, and since then, service has gone down. So, as you know, we just had another RFP, and I was greatly disappointed in the service that I received from them. So over the last couple of years, I have had in the back of my mind, I've talked to a couple of other consultants. I've met with them, done some research on those, and I have come to the conclusion that we do need to change consultants. And I have my glasses on. I extensively interviewed and talked to the Fidelity Group, which is a consultant firm based out of Ohio. McGowan Brabender is another consultant group. those two particular groups are heavy on insurance sales and also consulting. But the one that I like the best is the Oswald Company, and they are consultants as well as
they're big.
liability. Yes,
Mhm.
they are also Ohio-based. So that's who I would like to go with. I'm here to get your blessing. It is going to be $6,000 more a year. Willis Towers had kept us at $24,000. It was insinuated to me last year that one of the reasons we got poor service was because we didn't pay them very much. So anyway,
Wow.
of the three
So
that
much
I
for
did,
loyalty.
yeah. So of the three that I did interview, the Oswald not only do I believe gives us the best points for the money as well as service, but they were the cheapest of the three too.
Yeah.
So with your permission, I would like to change consultants
Well,
to
since you
Oswald.
are definitely the expert
Yes.
in this, and it sounds like you've done your due diligence.
I did.
And-
I've not jumped
and
into
yeah,
this
Oswald
quick.
is very well known.
Yes.
They're always at like CCAO and events trying to recruit
Right.
county commissioners. So
I appreciate you looking into this and, you know, sharing your insight regarding this, and, yeah, so the total for the Oswald would be $30,000
Correct.
a year. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
correct.
6,000
And they have
more
guaranteed
than-
that cost for the next 2 years.
Okay,
so,
that was gonna be my
which
next
is
question.
good.
Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
okay.
So, with your permission, I'd like to bring a resolution next week.
Okay,
for
sure,
your
yes,
signature.
I'm
Okay.
on board with that.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hey, thanks, Susan.
thank you, Susan. All right, Miss
Jackie.
Jackie, you are up.
Woo-hoo.
Good morning.
Good morning, the fun never ends with the budget, right?
Here we are again.
Here we go.
So I have a discussion item this morning. This is about the FY '26 permanent budget. So we did the temporary budget in December, and now we have to kind of readdress how we're gonna get this balanced. So we have better numbers, more accurate numbers on the projection. Between the court orders, the veterans request, and all the other department projections, the expense budget right now is totaling about 77.4 million. And right now we have resources certified at 74.7 million. So that's resulting in a deficit of 2.7 million. And then there's some other expenses that I think we need to also have on the radar. So we just found out recently that the HVAC in this building is going down and will probably need to be replaced. Right now that's estimated at $900,000. It might be upwards of that. And then also I wanted to try to keep step increases in mind if we could try, just try to do that. So if we add the 900,000 plus a projection for step increases to the 2.7 million deficit, we're more at like 4.1 million that we would have to find to make it balance. So there's a couple different things we can do. So there's some immediate suggestions and then maybe some long-term suggestions that we can look at. Immediately, I think we could look at increasing our revenue certification. So there's two sides to it. There's the revenue that we could increase and the expenses that we could decrease. So increasing the revenue certification, I would recommend that we could certify an additional sales tax of $1 million. In the past 3 years, we've brought in about 30 million. We're estimated at 28 million right now. So I do think it would be safe to increase the certification to 29 million. I believe that's a safe number. And that would give us another $1 million in budget to work with. And then also interest, I think we could look at that. We are certified right now at 4 million, and the past 2 years we've brought in close to 6.8 to 7 million. Even though the rates are going down and they're projected to go down, and we have to factor that in, we may not be at 7 million necessarily. I do think it'll be between 6 and 7 million this year, and I did confirm that with the treasurer just to make sure he's seeing it the same way. So 5.5 million is where we would be if we increase this, and I do think that's, I do believe that's a safe number. The treasurer actually said it's probably conservative, but
Conservative. I was
that's
gonna
kind
say,
of where I
I'd like to err
live
on
is conservative.
Because if we don't, not erring on a little bit conservative,
Yeah, because we definitely don't wanna over
We don't wanna
certify and it be in that
over-certify.
range.
Right, I know,
Right.
and it just makes me nervous,
Mhm.
period. To increase certifications, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
we still, I think, need to work on, decreasing
the expenses.
the expenses,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because it does, it makes me very concerned. I mean, it's a one way to fill the gap, but the gap doesn't go away, cause then it just adds to next year's.
Right, yeah, we have to be thinking
And-
out to the future too.
We've gotta rein it in somewhere.
So for the certifications, is the board okay with me just reaching out to Budget Commission to prompt them that we would be requesting this increase? And so it would go, the request would go through at the end of February, and they would increase the certification in their meeting in February.
Yeah, I'm okay with the 1 million, I think for the sales tax of 1 million, I don't know, the 1.5 million for the additional interest, I guess I'm just concerned with that fluctuation, that it could be less, but you're saying you talked to the treasurer and he thinks it's gonna be between 6 and 7.
I
just
know,
that
I
we
have the same
less-
thing, it's like, we're already biting into like
Mhm.
carryover for next year, and that's the only thing that really concerns me, is we're certifying right up to close to what we have, but
The other thing I could do is, with the treasurer, I could reach out to the investment firm, Meter,
Yeah.
and see what they're projecting. I'm pretty sure they were projecting similar between 6 and 7 million.
Where did we end up, I'm sorry, you said, where did we end up for 2025 at whole?
So the end of 2025 was 6.8 million, but I do think December might have been booked a little low because Meter's reports, I talked to the treasurer, their reports are getting a little bit skewed. They're trying to get them fixed, so, but
Okay.
6.8 at the lowest. It might have been higher, a little bit higher in December, had the report.
More than I thought, okay, okay.
Yeah, so it was 6.8 last year. I think it was just over 7 million the prior year.
and some of this is because of projects. But we always try to budget for capital projects
Mhm.
and stuff, but it's just, we're getting hit. So those are at least one-time expenses.
Yeah, I would point out the 77.4 million, that expense number, that does include the Board of Elections equipment that we think is coming due this year, and then
Yeah, because
the
we've been
HVAC for
holding
the
that money
JDs.
on forever. What's the issue there? I mean, I thought they needed to replace it like almost immediately.
Like, yeah, in 24, that's what I
And-
thought too, but I think they're saying this year it will need to be replaced.
Okay.
And Jackie, how much is that? Is that like 1.2 million?
We have 1.2 million set
Yeah.
aside, and then there's another fund where we had set aside, some money, and there's, I think, 250,000 in there, so we'll combine those two,
Because
because
the
they
last
said
time
it's
we replaced it
1.5.
was 1.5.
Right, so there's
Oh.
1.5 set aside total
Oh,
yeah.
between that other fund.
Yeah, because I
and
think on the
general
thing,
fund.
it just showed the 1.2, and I was like curious about that, because I know I was here the last time we did it, and it was 1.5.
Mhm. So there's
Can't
200.
imagine it going down.
Right, yeah,
Right,
there's
what do I know?
270,000 set aside in that other Board of Elections equipment fund, so that would pay for the balance.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so that's, 1.5 of that, 77 million, okay.
And then, let's
Okay. So then that's kind of the first side of the approach, and then the other side is we'll have to decrease some expenditure budgets.
Yep.
So first, I would like to ask the board for permission to contact the judges and the Veterans Department about their health benefits budgets. So we're projecting out their actual need, and it's quite a bit less in a lot of areas than what is budgeted. So I think we could save a lot of budget if we kind of decrease those line by line. But we'd have to go request it and get their permission to decrease it.
to make an amendment.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that, and that's just the health benefits, and I know when we first, back in the fall, back in September, you sent out your letter, to everyone regarding,
Increase.
the budgets, and we asked people to keep things flat if they could. You know, and it specifically says, you know, please hold off on any wage increases for 2025 unless already agreed upon by contract, which we know by contract, we don't have an option there. But I guess I would ask that, you know, are we seeing that people have budgeted for wage increases in 2026 that you're seeing?
Oh, yeah.
For the orders and the
Yeah.
ones that were requested by statute, yes.
You know, I would like to ask that, you know, they go back and look at that. You know, we were in here with Hank, with adult probation, and we just have to, you know, work as a team. You know, Portage County, you know, we're one team. You know, if we ask if, you know, you could please hold off on wage increases, and, you know, we're seeing those come through, and seeing how the budget's coming in, you know, I just say that we also ask if, you know, that they could look at that again and see if there's something that can be done.
Okay.
But those have all been put through by now.
They have been put through. The other thing we can do is,
Just not fun.
look at
too.
the budget and see if that too, the salary budget was also requested higher, even given the increases, was that also requested
Mhm.
higher than it should be, and maybe we can pare those down too.
Yeah, I think we need to ask the question, and see what we get answers to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
mean, these are
will-
really good suggestions, Jackie.
So,
And then we get the health benefit holidays.
yeah, we were looking also at, I discussed with Michelle possibly doing health benefits holidays too. We did one last year. So for every health benefits holiday that we do, it saves $300,000 in the general fund. I know there's also the other side of it, that's the health benefits fund, so we don't wanna, take it too far because we do need a reserve in there, but, I do believe we could afford 2 health benefits holidays this year, which would save the general fund $600,000. If, the board is okay with that, we could work with Susan to look at that.
And thank you, I know you explained that to me earlier, as I had some questions on that, but, you know, I'm fine with that. You know, like I said, hopefully we can get some decreases in some of these other expense, items as well, but, I'm okay with the health benefits holiday.
Yeah, and that's what we have that fund for. Or like last year, we treated the staff to the benefit holiday
Mhm.
at the end of the year.
Yeah, so this would be 2 of those.
Two of those, yeah.
And then one other approach would be that we could go into the budgets that we have control over that are not ordered or requested by statute, and decrease the non-personnel budgets, department by 1%. That would give us enough to potentially put back in the personnel lines in those departments to give the step increases. I do believe that would afford the step increases. And it would be 1%, so I don't think it would be a huge hit to the department budget. I think they would be willing to take 1%, say, out of their supply line, if it would help to fund the step increases for their team.
Right. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, so that would be the step increases that you're talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
Well,
those that are on the scale, correct?
But here's the problem with that. We have people that are on the scale, but then they have other funds that they go and give increases. So if we do this, they get that increase. Remember, we ran into that, I think, wasn't it 2 years ago, where if they were on the scale, they got that additional 1% or whatever we did for the scale, the people on the scale, even though they're not really abiding by the scale, because they're using other funds to give, 5% increases.
So that was one question I had for the board, is how do we wanna deal with those that, can't order their budget, haven't ordered, or they haven't requested it by statute, aren't on the scale, they're kind of in that, there's really only
Gray area.
4 departments, sub-departments that fit that category, but, would we wanna do something for them also? In the past, we've done a 1%, but many of them are just, they're in a different category, because some of them have just done what they wanted in the past.
Yeah, so they've compensated, they've given increases, so.
Mhm.
Or, yeah, potentially
Okay.
they were on the scale and they
As you
chose to
know,
go off.
Like, everyone has a special fund that they can do it with, except for the Board of Commissioners. And, you know, I always feel like we're punitive to our staff, we're always trying to lead by example, but all it does is really, makes it bad for our staff, because no one else is doing it. And the scale is probably just like obsolete now. Scale is only as good as the people that truly follow it. And I can tell you, it's probably only a handful of people now. Everyone
Mhm.
else is like, scrap that thing, we're gonna do, you can't do it. But yet, our people are looking at what, if they're on the scale, what was it, like a 1.8%? I mean, that's tough. That's tough, and I'm afraid that we may start losing staff to go to different departments that, you know, do pay better than us.
So, yeah, I don't know if, I guess we could come back to that one, because we still have some things that have to be determined, and we still have some things to work out with departments.
Yeah.
So maybe once we determine if we can do the step increases for those that are on the scale, then what about these departments that fall in that other
Yeah,
category?
In the other category?
Yeah, Commissioner Bennett made a great point, you know, it's like, you know, they haven't been following that, and they've been reaping the benefits when other departments haven't, then,
Yeah.
you know, why, I'm
No,
not as inclined
at
to
the end, it
increase
seems like
that.
it's always our staff
Mhm.
that pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna make sure that we're taking care of our staff.
Great.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very much, yes. Also, I did have a question about vacancies. So for long-standing vacancies, do we want to continue to fund those in the budget? If it's been a long-standing vacancy for, I would say, a year or more, it doesn't make a lot of sense to continue to budget for those.
Yeah, I
Because it's
agree.
adding budget there that,
I agree, and I think that was even one of the things that you outlined in the letter that, you know, you sent out when we were, you know, starting the budgeting process in the fall, is, you know, if they're budgeting for current vacancies, explain why. So, you know, there might be a good reason, and then we can take that into consideration, but, I would agree, or that, my opinion, that we wouldn't budget for vacancies unless a explanation was given that.
Especially vacancies that have been vacant
Over a
for
year.
6 months or longer.
Mhm.
I mean, we're just tying up money or giving them money to do increases other places, you know, for in
Right.
the salary line.
Right.
okay. And then also, there are some instances in departments where there is funding that is received outside of the general fund for, say, a grant or a contract, and then, the employees that should be charged against that revenue are being charged in the general fund and then expense corrected into the other fund at a later date. So does the board want us to, you know, we have addressed it or attempted to address it in the past, but does the board want us to continue to address that with those departments and
Yes.
try and get that
No,
corrected?
absolutely,
Yeah.
and for reporting purposes, that only makes sense to me that you would have a special line, so you know exactly why are we funding it and then waiting to get reimbursed.
Mhm.
Now, to me, it's a cleaner way of tracking, is having that special project line or having that special grant line, so that we know exactly, we can have a better handle on the funding.
Okay. Yeah, it helps with timing too. The timing gets tricky if it's corrected way after the fact. It
Yeah.
gets very confusing as to
Right.
what the
Right.
expenses actually are.
We need to match that up as soon as possible, and it should be known, I mean, if there's a contract out there that's, you know, funding this position or a grant or whatever, you know, we should, you know, it should be known, so it shouldn't be taking too long to, you know, match that up, if you will. And
Mhm.
then it makes it easier for us to see from the general fund, if we're supposed to be funding 20 positions, but, 4 of those are covered by some outside contracts or a grant, then really, from the general fund, there should only be 16, in that example, that we're funding from the general fund. Just to
Okay.
make it easy easier, not easy to look at, is it, sometimes, all these accounting numbers,
And then also, I think it helps us track those grant positions. Because how many of those grant positions do they start out with, and then they're saying, and then for the next 2 years, you have to fund it. And it's up to that department to find the resources, but that doesn't always happen.
Right.
And then the next thing we know, it's going in as an additional staff person, or we have 3 vacancies, so we're just gonna keep this one, but yet they wanna fill the other 3 as well. And I think we need better tracking on those grant positions. I mean, truly, I wish everyone was as good as probation, because that's one department, and just the courts in general. They seem to be really good about tracking their grant positions, because they know if they can't find the funding or whatever, it goes away. Well, that's not always the case with other departments and elected officials. And I think we need to check that, keep an eye on that.
Right, and I think
And it's easy to do.
yeah, we need to start, I think, using our system more efficiently too, and just assign the payroll where the money is.
Right, right.
So.
There's that easy part, right?
Right.
But no, I agree.
So I want to put in in our budget for 4 extra directors positions that I'm gonna leave open, and then I'm gonna share those
Share the
funds
wealth.
with bonuses. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm being facetious.
Ideally.
What do you
That's a
think,
good
Jill?
idea.
We'll get our staff, we'll get our staff bonuses and big increases.
No bonuses.
No bonuses.
No whammy.
No whammies. Big bucks, no whammies.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So just to circle back, are we okay with the interest increase, like requesting that, or do we wanna hold on that?
I would like to hold on that just until we can talk to Meter. Yeah, and just, I'm okay with the sales tax, I feel good with that, but, I know that they've had some, like you said, with the statements, there was some issues with the December statement, and I guess I would just like to have a better
Clear.
comfort level with that,
Okay.
before we would go. I think big picture we'd be fine, but I'd like a little bit more information from Meter, and just to make sure
It's sort of
their
like
projection.
having a rainy day fund, personally, and then once you dip into it, like, it gives me anxiety, and it's like, it's there for a situation, but, it
But when it's
stresses
gone,
me out.
yeah.
It's sort of like with the interest, I know it's gonna go down, and plus we don't
Mhm.
get all the interest off of the ARPA anymore.
Exactly, I was gonna say
So
our balances have
it's
gone
gonna
down.
start go down, but then again, if this is a one-time, situation, then you'd say, well, just do it this year and next year. But the problem is, next year comes and we're in a bigger deficit because, we've got court orders, we've got contracts, it just concerns me
Yeah,
where we're at now. And even without those additional projects that were not projected, like here, that could happen any year. We could have more added to our pile this year,
right.
And here we are certifying almost like every penny. It just makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, a lot of the projects that have come up haven't been expected, so.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a fund somewhere, obviously a big, big fund, right, we're going.
Okay, so let's see. One other thing, and this is more of a future consideration, is about the certificate of title fund. I was wondering if the board wanted me to pursue a discussion with the clerk of courts, like between the clerk of courts and the board, about
Yeah, I
the
think
access
that's a
in
good
that
idea.
fund, because that might go toward assisting with this issue.
And that's
too.
another thing, Jill Pinkhauser has always been good to work with us as far as, you know, giving money back and stuff, and I think she'll work with us.
Yeah, I think we need to do that and get a good handle on the excess that's in that fund and come to agreement as to what can be returned to the general fund.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting that, especially for like Jill, it's new, to realize how much the clerk does pay, even though there's a hefty sum in there, that, you know, she doesn't necessarily have to pay for every court view user and stuff. She pays for a lot, so it'll be good to have those conversations and refresh.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so I will pursue all of these things, and we'll see where things land, and I'll probably, you know, come back and give a recap to the board about where we are, and hopefully, you know, it'll be good news next time, we'll be balanced.
Yeah. And so Jackie, we're looking to, you know, probably by the middle of March to the following week, probably like the week of the no later than the week of the 23rd, we'll have to approve the permanent budget.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Yeah.
by mid-March.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 26th would be our
Last meeting,
day.
yeah, to do so.
Hopefully we can do it maybe a week earlier.
Yeah.
I would rather do it a little bit sooner versus wait until the deadline and
Right,
something
no, I
pops
agree.
up.
I
Right.
agree,
Yeah,
Yeah, so by mid-March, hopefully at the
Okay.
latest.
yeah, we
perfect.
should have a good handle on it by then.
Yeah. All right,
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Any other questions on resolutions, Sabrina?
I did not have any,
Okay.
so, yeah. Okay, all right, in accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and this board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval to, I'll make a motion to direct the auditor's office to pay process the February 5th, 2026 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then announce as applicable contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the county auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion to process the February 5th, 2026 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
On to resolutions, I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001, General Fund, to Fund 1414, Child Support Administration.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001, General Fund, to Fund 1410, Public Assistance Fund.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 1415, Child Welfare Special Levy, to Fund 1410, Public Assistance.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 4255, Old Fords Roundabout, to Fund 1201, Motor Vehicle Gas Tax.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 4261, Stanley Road Bridge Replacement, to Fund 1201, Motor Vehicle Gas Tax.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize grant application to the Office of the Ohio Attorney General for the Live Scan Grant for the Portage County Common Pleas Court Juvenile Division.
Second. Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Jill?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much,
Jackie.
Jackie. Appreciate you putting together your discussion items.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Shannon.
Miss Shannon, you are up.
Well, you got a lot of stuff.
What happened to our clock? Did it fall off?
We got a lot to talk about.
So it was constantly 10 minutes off, 9 minutes off, whatever, so we're ordering a new one.
Oh, good.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Got good news first?
Always, you know me.
I know, that's why I asked.
I know, right? I was just gonna discuss the HISA office that adult probation was using for their drug testing. It was kind of during COVID period when they got the opiates money, I believe that's what they were doing. It's been vacant for 5 years. I looked back, I thought it was like 2 or 3.
Oh, wow.
But it was like 5 years since 2021 HISA was in there. So I want to know if the board would like me to put it up for rent, to put the sign in the window now that they're no longer using it. Hank reached out to me and says they're no longer going to be using that office.
Well, unless we get the bond clients there.
Oh, I was not
We-
told that. So if that doesn't go through with the board, I mean, if that's not going to be
Yeah.
working any longer, so.
'Cause there's no place in the Ravenna courthouse if we wanna do that.
Okay,
I guess, so
Um,
Judge, we'll talk to Judge Shardy next.
Yeah.
okay.
week.
Is she coming in next week? or-
She's coming in next week.
Okay.
So can we hold off until then?
Sure, I can hold off till then. All right, well then I won't discuss that. I'll just go ahead and do project updates then.
Oh, speaking of, I guess I should have asked Hank, have they decided, or do they need us to decide who they're gonna use going forward for the drug testing?
Oh, the 3.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
Hank does, he told me he was just saying.
I thought they were leaning toward the town hall, wasn't it?
I
he
don't know,
mentioned
he
that?
told me who he wanted
Yeah.
decided, because he wanted to give me the keys back, so.
But yeah, you would, in order to finalize that contract, we would need to know which fund is gonna pay.
Okay,
So
got it.
you may want to push that off till next week.
Next week, okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thanks, Shannon.
Did I give, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Mike.
One page.
Yes. So the heat on the generator, we are coming back to that one because Rummel has come up with a game plan. He wants to put a transfer switch on the outside. He was gonna incorporate it in, but you know the one transfer switch does not work on our main system. So he's gonna put exterior transfer switch so that the generator is hooked up to the boiler system because I want heat on the generator. So he's gonna give me a cost on that next week. I'll have to, I don't know how, I have no idea what the cost is gonna be on that. But I think it's very important that we have that, cause I don't want it, especially with the winter that we had this year,
Yeah.
that would make me very nervous to not
Right.
have heat. So, he's gonna give me a cost on that. And then we talked about the HVAC replacement for this
Yeah.
building.
Mm-hmm.
So, I met with them Monday, we all did a walk around, there was
Yeah.
several of us involved. Couple hours of walking around, and they're gonna give us a cost within the next 2 to 3 weeks on what it's gonna be for this building, for everything. And then if you turn over to the middle block, we finally have heating where the guardianship was. They're very
Oh.
happy, they were very appreciative
Good.
with it, so we are good to go.
That just blows my mind, that they didn't even have like baseboard heaters, nothing for
It was
that?
one big giant room and they put it into small rooms. I know, I didn't know that either. They have air, but they didn't have heat, so.
So Shannon, did that come in around the estimate of like the 15,000?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
perfect.
Yes, and they did a very good job, so Diane was very appreciative, like I said, about that, so. And that's all I have, and then I just have resolutions.
And we're gonna pull number 2.
2, yep.
Okay. Yep, all right. I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement for visitation aid services with Portage Jobs and Family Services and Access Family Services.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Ken Stewart for adoption supportive services for children's services.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with the Portage County Prosecuting Attorney to provide workers' compensation services.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the specifications for highway materials for use by the Portage County Engineer and set time for receiving bids the same.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the specifications of various aggregate materials for use by the Portage County Engineer and set time for receiving bids for the same.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the specifications for bituminous liquids and bituminous materials for use by the Portage County Engineer and set time for receiving bids for same.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the specifications and sets the date for the rebid of the Jaguar Park ADA project, Hiram Village, Ohio.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina? Yes. Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to reject RFQs for the Nelson Township ADA restroom project, 11642 Wyndham Parkman Road, Nelson Township, Ohio, on behalf of the Portage County Regional Planning Commission.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. See, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't too
Right.
bad.
On to
Until next time,
Right.
right?
Wait till I get the cost, right?
All right.
All right, I'll move on to miscellaneous. The Board of Commissioners acknowledges receipt of the January 30th, 2026 Certificate of County Auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do exceed the official estimate of resources as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office received on January 30th, 2026.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the February 2nd, 2026 amended certificate of estimated resources for the year beginning January 1st, 2026, as submitted by the Portage County Budget Commission, received on February 2nd, 2026.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the January 2026 adjustments to the Portage County Water, Portage County Sewer, and Streetsboro Sewer billing accounts as reported on the adjustment reports.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners authorizes County Administrator Michelle Crombie to sign the Ohio Secretary of Renewal of Service Mark or Trademark Registration for the Portage County logo expiring on August 4th, 2026.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the February 9th, 2026 Certificate of County Auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do exceed the official estimate of resources as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office received on February 9th, 2026.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges the correspondence from Dr. Dean DePiero, the Portage County Coroner, dated February 3rd, 2026, and received on February 9th, 2026.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners declares obsolete and authorizes the recycling of Portage County Jobs and Family Services computer equipment.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners declares obsolete and authorizes the disposal of Portage County property located at the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners declares obsolete and authorizes the disposal of Portage County personal property located at Portage County Water Resources Operations and Maintenance Building.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the conditional acceptance of substantial completion of street, storm sewer, and drainage improvements in the Eagle Green subdivision, Franklin Township.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves the public announcement of available contract for the professional engineering services for the project known as 2026 Bridge Services Contract.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approves public announcement of available contract for professional engineering services for the project known as 2026 and General Engineering Services Contract.
Second, roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
And then we pulled number 7, correct? All right.
Anything before we go to recess?
I do not.
Okay, well, we will recess until 11 for public comment.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Welcome back from recess. Is there anything to come before the board?
No, ma'am.
No public comment? Okay,
Not today.
all right. Commissioner Bennett?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
just wanna give an update. I went last week, remember, for the one-day conference down at the Ohio Township Association, and of course, the hot button was property taxes.
Right.
And then also data centers.
Mm.
And so, and I didn't know this, I thought this was interesting, why the boom in Ohio. Ohio is becoming known as the Silicon Heartland. Yeah.
Hmm.
And we have 217 data centers.
Wow.
Do you know that?
Where are
we
they
are the,
concentrated at? Are they throughout the state or? is
yeah,
there a
throughout the state,
concentration?
well, Columbus,
Yeah.
areas like that, the big cities have it, but we're the fifth, in the US for the most data centers, and Columbus rates 6th globally for
Wow,
data
globally?
centers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's because of our infrastructure and the utilities, and then of course the generous tax breaks that they get that come from there. The good news about them is they created close to 100,000 jobs, and they brought in like 11 billion in revenue to the state in 2014. Now, since 2017, 40 billion has been in the private capital investment. But by 2030, they're estimated to have created 132,000, nearly 20 billion added annually to the state's GDP. You know, some of the concerns and legitimate concerns that people have, of course, is the amount of water that they consume. The noise is an issue, and then of course tax abatements are the bad about them, and then the health issues, concerns of pollution to the water, air pollution, and they've done studies and they found that there tends to be an increase in cancer
Oh, wow. That's
close to these areas, and there are fewer like permanent jobs there, they said, you know, but what jobs they do create, you know, they're good paying. It's security, engineering, and IT people. And then also the concern about the rising electrical prices for the residents when you have those around. But some things that they are doing, and you know, the federal government's all in support of these. So I know a lot of communities are considering putting a moratorium.
Yes.
Well, you can only put a moratorium on them for 12 months.
Oh, so only a year.
And then,
Okay.
yeah, but some of the things that they responded back to counter some of the concerns is they have new designs that use less water. That's where they use that loop system. It's a huge reduction. If they use about 300 gallons, they said, a day. But with this loop system, they use it goes from 300 gallons to the amount of a regular office space. That's how much they can reduce it with the recycling of water. The bigger facilities
Seems like a
now,
lot.
yeah, the bigger facilities create what they call behind the meter power, and that's where they use natural gas, substations, and nuclear power energy. And that actually is good because it creates more space on the grid, because they create their own,
Creating their own energy.
yeah, and
source.
they're doing better designs, of course, to reduce the noise, better infrastructure and landscaping. But the other interesting part was understanding the implications to the townships regarding the abolishment of taxes, and some of the suggestions that they had was if you were to abolish taxes, some of the things that could be done in order to make up for that revenue was, let me see here, that one of the options to replace the revenue is to local income tax. State legislature could authorize townships now to collect income tax. The concern is though the implementation would take time to do, and then local governments and school implementation would likely duplicate local income taxes, and then it requires a ballot issue, which delays revenue, waiting until like the next tax cycle. But they also were realists and said, you know, understanding the abolishment, other types of reform is they would consolidate like libraries, schools, consolidate small village and townships. Reality is that most townships would go away. A few would incorporate, but most will vanish. So it's just interesting. It was very informative, and like I said, I was only there for the one day, but you know, it sort of relates
Right.
to some of our stuff. And you
Exactly.
know, I know Jill, you and I both went last year, and this year I went down, and you know, I do think that I get a lot of good out of it. But the interesting part is, this past election, they said 90% of the township's levies passed. 90%,
Yeah,
and then 70% of the school levies passed.
so, yeah, exactly.
people
So it's
are-
kind of a mixed message, right? Because they want abolishment, but they're passing levies. So do they really understand the
Understand it.
whole?
And the impact of what it has to do on their services, especially like townships, like fire, police, EMS, you know, roads. So, but it was pretty interesting, so I just wanted to report out and
Yeah.
share information I got.
Sure.
And then the only other thing I wanted to remind people is that Monday we're closed. Monday is Lincoln's birthday, President's Day.
Right.
So, we will not, the county buildings will be closed for the holiday. And that's it.
Okay, great. All
So
right.
did you have any?
No, I don't.
Okay,
So go
I
ahead.
will make a motion to adjourn.
All right, second. Roll call?
Sabrina,
Yes.
Jill.